this
Yeah, there you
whole
go.
time, just so it's all chin. Sorry about that. Of course, this is what Eric. I love the nicotine gum I can hear on mic.
My
It's
bad, I forgot I was in. Well,
yeah.
the co-host took a little while to get onto the camera shot.
Well, one thing was
Kind of your fault.
you can't hear your own smacking of your 4 milligram fruit chill, dude.
Oh, I used to get on the mic for PE class, and they'd be like, "Coach, can you please stop chewing into the mic?" I'm like, okay, I forgot.
Yeah, my kids called me out on it. They're like, "Dad, you smack it really loud." I was like, "I do." I was like, I didn't think you guys listened to me at all, so I didn't think, you know, there was a problem. I thought you had your headphones on all the time.
Mm.
Um, we're going, we're
Going,
recording.
we're going.
Wait, you're in Costa Rica. I got Guanacaste that I got cut off
All right, yeah.
previous to us starting the episode. So I think I've been over that area. Uh, it's Langosta Beach was my only reference point, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Langosta Beach. So that's right next to Tamarindo Beach, which is a little more
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
That would be less popular, but probably less chance of running into another surfer at Langosta. But I'm in Playas del Coco, which is about an hour north of that. And so I don't live at a surf beach.
Closer to Arnal, the volcano.
Yeah, closer to the airport, closer to Arnal.
Andy, he will make the whole show about geography if you let him. If he loves just talking about where shit is and what about this place? I know you got Google Maps pulled up over there too.
No, I don't. Hands free. I don't know. I didn't have. I had a Game Boy growing up that never had batteries or a good game to play. I always got like the worst game. Parents are 3 years late on every game. I got like the Simpsons game and it stinks. But never had batteries. So I looked at almanacs and maps in the back of the car all the time. And I'm gonna try to make sure my kids' iPads don't work sometimes. So I'm gonna put maps in the back. They have to get the Rand McNally on. Yeah, you like that. Eric hates that joke. Uh-huh. You hate that reference, dude. Rand. Call me Rand, dude.
Yeah, no harm.
like maps.
I remember stopping at gas stations and buying the map. Like if you're driving across, I'm Canadian, so driving across Canada, and when you cross the border, you buy the map for the next province, and then you buy the map for the next province.
Oh, I bet Canada, one wrong turn, and that's hours out. I mean, that could be a death sentence.
That is true. Thankfully, there's only one highway, so it's pretty hard to get lost.
You're Canadian?
Yeah.
All right, we have to go. That's been a good episode. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
What part of Canada?
Atlantic Canada. So a lot of maybe Americans don't know this. Some Canadians maybe don't even know. But in the
Marqueen Island,
Prince Edward Island.
There you go. So when I say I'm from Eastern Canada, a lot of people, like Toronto or maybe the ocean. Oh, but there's like actually 4 other provinces east of that. So that's all right.
I like Canada. I don't know how Eric feels about it. We beat you on hockey. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's tough. Not only hockey, but the World Series this year was tough too. The Blue Jays in Game 7. So a couple of back-to-back smacks across the nose. So it's tough, but we're hanging in there.
Yeah, as Rays fans, we're conflicted because we want the Blue Jays to win, so we look a little bit better, but at the same time, we don't really want them to win.
Yeah.
But no one wants the Dodgers to, Anyway, let's get into our. Here's how we do this. We got some lightning round questions. Eric's gonna hit the theme music for it.
Pew, pew, pew. You didn't send it to me, Verm.
I thought you didn't answer my question. If I was like, here's what we tried to do. We're doing StreamYard for the first time. We even tried to prepare, which we never do. And this is what happens when we prepare.
Yeah, what did we end up talking about? Your carnivore diet diarrhea is what it was.
Okay, you can't drink and do drugs on carnivore diet and then try to offset dehydration with liquid IV and Pedialyte because it makes it more diarrhea-y.
All right, no more fun facts.
Well, did use some protein from Montreal. Is that you know what I'm saying? All right. Let's get some. We do lightning round questions for everybody to get to know the guest, and we just try to ask you some quick questions We want some quick answers, and then we'll let you tell your bio and where to find you. How about that?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It is not.
Very firm answer. I like that. What'd you have for dinner last night?
3 hot dogs.
Sandwich.
No, I had shrimp pasta last night. Delicious.
And this question is on brand for probably what you're going to tell us about, but it is one of our stat questions. What is better, cake or pie?
Yeah, I knew this one was coming. And you know, if it relates to like eating it, like food, definitely cake for me. But you know, if it relates to profit, impact, and enjoyment as a small business owner, then I'm all about pie. We'll get in.
You secretly answered one of the other questions too. All right, I got a new one. I came up. Do you search for good parking, or do you just park and walk?
Ooh, good question. Good add into the mix. Do you know what blood type you are?
I don't actually.
Why do you want to know that? Because you don't know. I'm asking you all. That's a creepy answer. That's a creepy question. All right. Okay, my bad.
Here, you're an organ donor. Those were your questions, you dumbass.
Okay, if you could have any liquid come out of your index finger, unlimited for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Lightning. Quick.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta be fast. Sorry. What the liquid? This one. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would probably be like gin and tonic. Can I do that? Can it be mixed? Is that too good?
Yeah, you could make it a mixer. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Eric's got some new questions that are throwing me off. What time do you wake up in the morning?
5.
What time do you go to sleep? Sorry.
10. You try to be in bed before 10.
All right. When's the last time you were terrified?
Last time I was terrified, probably in a nightmare that I had where, you know, something bad was happening to one of my kids.
Yeah, that'll get you.
What's the last time you cried?
I don't know if it's the last time I cried, but yeah, probably was. It was on my birthday this year. I turned 52, it was back in December. I turned 52. My kids, I have 4 kids. They gave me a deck of cards, 52 cards. And on each card, there was a picture of me with one of my kids and a little saying that said like, "Thank you, Dad, for ... 52 of them.
Wow, yeah, that would do it.
Waterworks, big time waterworks.
That would get me.
So much better than a hug coupon. Does God exist?
Yes.
Oh,
There.
are we still going? That's a lot of lightning round questions for the poor guy. All right.
Man, we do. It's our show, bitch.
Okay. Jean-Claude Van Damme, is he good, great, or amazing?
I'll go great.
Okay.
All right, last 2 questions. You already kind of answered one. Did you listen or watch the show before coming on?
Yes.
And what advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
Learn how to play the guitar.
That's a new one. We haven't heard that one. Very specific.
Interesting.
You want
What-
Can I?
Yeah. This goes into story time. We're done with lightning round, but yeah, tell us.
So I learned how to play the guitar when I was in my mid-20s, and I was already in a relationship. So therefore, I couldn't play the guitar, when I was in high school or college, and that's really when you want to be playing the guitar. So my son is 15, and he started about a year ago, and so I give him the thumbs up. He's going to do well with that.
Smart man. Smart dad.
Yeah, just don't be the guy that picks it up when other people don't want to hear it,
Yeah, I think every guitar player goes through that phase. It's like it's just a necessary phase until you understand that, for the most part, people don't want you to play the guitar. They want to play like music, like, from Spotify. They don't want to listen to you. There are some very rare occasions that it's the right mood and they say, hey, get out the guitar and we'll sing Country Road and Tragically Hip songs and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sensitive to that. I don't break it out unless people really want it.
Yeah. And you're no, I don't want to do that. Okay, fine.
Now you got to do that. You got to say like no about 3 or 4 times and then
Yeah, one of my best buds, he if you hang out with him at his house, he just you'll talk to him, he'll just kind of strum a couple of songs like while in the middle of a conversation. You're like, Ben, please stop this.
Can you stop that?
Right. I don't want to hear Blink 182 on acoustic, okay? I know it's easy. So you've earned yourself a plug. Tell our audience who you are, what you do, why you're better, all that stuff.
Yeah. Canadian living in Costa Rica. What I do is I work with business owners, typically small business owners, like between 500K, 5 million, not always, in terms of annual revenues. And what I do is, getting back to the pie model, is we're very strategic in terms of we want to increase the business owner's finances, so profit, impact, which is the amount of good they're doing in the world, which in other words means how are you making other people's lives better, your customers, your employees, your community. And then what often gets forgotten and what we're really focused on is your enjoyment as a business owner. Is this business making your life better? Is it making your life worse? Do you control your business? Does it control you? That kind of stuff. So we get really intentional about how to increase their levels of profit, impact, and enjoyment.
What's the biggest kind of like knee-jerk reaction when you're telling people this? Because I feel like a lot of business owners, you got a lot of things going on, but if they've reached out to you, they know they need help, right? So that kind of gets over that hurdle. But the hardest thing to do is change behavior. And there. Sorry, I have some pop-ups from StreamYard come up. Changing behavior of people is difficult. Do you see yourself doing that? Do they have initial reactions? Anything right away?
Yeah, well, it's a good question because one of the things that I sort of vet when I'm with my, deciding whether I want to work with a business owner is I need to assess, are they actually willing to change, to make some changes, right? Because if you don't make any changes, you're not going to get different results. And so you have to have a willingness to actually be coached and to make some changes. And so not everybody is willing to do that. I used to work with a lot of lawyers, actually. And what I learned working with lawyers was that they said they wanted the results, but they weren't willing to make the changes to get those results.
No, we're familiar.
Oh, yeah. Is this mostly Canadian lawyers or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly Canadian lawyers.
Yeah. So are they as shrewd as American lawyers?
Shrewd. I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Well, you kind of nailed it. The problem with working with them is they want the performance, but they get frustrated in the communication aspect. And then you have to spend a lot of time educating, and they zone out hard. And it's like, okay, well, if we've been marketing for a bunch of attorneys before, and it's like, I don't mind. I can handle the personality. We grew up in Tampa. There's more like marketing per lawyer, marketing per capita of lawyer spend, whatever, in the Tampa Bay area than anywhere in the country. We got lawyers everywhere. There was like every third friend of mine growing up was one. My dad was one. My uncle was one. So I know the personality type. They're gonna challenge you. And they claim to want to change. It's like people that want to lose weight, and they go, "I know I need to do it. I'm gonna lose the weight," and then they get really frustrated when you call them out on it, and when you're like, "Hey, man, maybe that donut not such a great idea." It's like, I don't know if that's an apt metaphor, but
yeah, well, I knew that's the metaphor you were going to use, by the way.
Yeah. So just so you know, I don't know, like I practice law. I am a lawyer. I'm still certified in the whole bit. So I practiced law for about a dozen years. but I haven't practiced in about a dozen years. So, I get lawyers because I am one. And what I saw when I was practicing law, and I worked in big firms, big offices, and I just saw like the general level of like unhealthiness and unhappiness and unfulfillment. If that's a word, a third thing. And not everybody. I mean, there were a few lawyers that were the exception, but for the most part, it wasn't a career. It wasn't a business model. It isn't a business model that really is set up to make you happy, in my opinion and in my experience. You have to, you're on your own to set up those boundaries, because no one else is gonna set them for you, and then you have to set them and you have to defend them relentlessly because they get pushed and pushed and pushed. To a similar extent, that applies in the small business context as well. But I think small business owners have more leeway to structure their business and to structure their time than most lawyers do.
Yeah, autonomy is the big reason, right? The big incentive is a lot of it for a lot of people. The ability to make as much as you can make also is the other one. But attorneys, I think what I see is if you're an attorney and you're out on your own or you're a partner in a smaller firm, no one takes a management course. No one knows how to manage other people. You get kind of thrown in there because you're smart and because you've done well in cases, but it doesn't mean you know the how to manage your own people, right? Or manage the expectations you're kicking up to your boss.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's supposed to be some kind of innate, like because you're bright in this area, you should know this management area. And I feel like a lot of them get flustered by that.
Yeah, 100%. My brother actually is the managing partner at a big law firm in the UK, and he was actually just visiting a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this. It's the same. Like the professional services partnerships, like law firms and accounting firms, HR firms, engineering firms, architect. They're a unique beast, and they are, I would say, among the most difficult businesses to get right because there's so many owners, right? And how do you keep all those owners happy? That's a very difficult thing to do. I actually was the COO of a professional services partnership for about 5 years. And so again, you're talking about learning things firsthand. Like that is a real difficult beast to manage. A lot of my time was spent listening to partners vent to me. You know what they were venting about? The other partners. 100%.
Yeah.
And so like it's really a no-win situation, quite frankly, to try to be in that model. So I don't work with a lot of professional services partnerships. I do work with some, but the most of my clients that I work with, it's like the owner operator that's trying to transition from owner operator to owner and less operator, right? As they've had some success, they've got more customers, they have more team members, the business gets more complex, it gets more complicated, and they have a really difficult time removing themselves from the bottleneck of operations. And that's what gets them, working too much, unhappy, wasting time. And whenever you're wasting time or energy or resources, you're not making the money that you should be making either. So that's what we work on together.
Yeah.
How do you filter through? How do you filter through the guys that you want to work with? Do you have a sort of a playbook on, if they say this, that's a red flag sort of thing, or just a set of questions that you might ask them?
It's definitely a set of questions. But also it's a bit of a gut feel too. Like I've worked with clients that it didn't work well, and it's not good for them. It's not good for me. Whether that's like just not the right personality or, just whether our humor doesn't jive together or whatever.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But-
Especially for Law and I. Like, that's funny. No thanks.
So
I try to not be funny, and then they find out I'm a comedian. They're like, "You haven't been funny at all," and I'm like, "You're not paying me for that, bitch." Like, I just that makes lawyers laugh, but no one else.
it's
Co-
interesting. Look, it's part of the, so I've had people call me like the professor, like, because I can get, when I get focused on like, on getting results, I get pretty dialed in and I can be like a little stone faced. But I also like to have fun though. I also like to have a good time. I also like to like tell jokes, and I also like to make fun of myself. And, because I think that, that builds rapport, right? With, I also like to admit that I've made lots of mistakes, which I have. And so I think that's a lot what I bring to the table when I'm working with clients, is that mixture of like, when it's time to get to work, let's get to work. But, running a business should be fun, right? It should be an enjoyable thing. So let's not forget that as part of the process.
yeah, fun's a tough word. I think about being content. You know, it's not when you achieve the small goals or the milestones or whatever that you wanted to do. That feels great. Like, that's the best beer you'll have to kinda think about that, but, fun, is kind of a tough one 'cause is a lot like anything, 97% of it just kinda blows, anything you're working towards, and
I
so
disagree. I disagree with you, Law.
well, maybe I'm a sad sack, I don't know. Maybe I need that Canadian disposition.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that. I mean, I just think it's not like, let's not confuse it with like every day, every minute of every day is sunshine and rainbows. Of course it isn't. But when you're looking at over a period of time, you know, your days and your weeks and your months, if you're a business owner leading a business, um, if you can't say that, yeah, this is pretty fun. Like, if you can't say I am enjoying the process of running this business, then that's not sustainable. It's not. I mean, I guess it's a philosophy that I bring to the table, so maybe not everybody resonates with it, but that's not how I want to go through life, and that's why I'm no longer practicing law. It wasn't fun for me. It's not to say the practice of law can't be fun for other people. It just wasn't for me. So I figured out a way to do something else, and so I think business owners that aren't enjoying the process of running their business, I think it's incumbent upon them as a human being and as a business owner to ask themselves why. Why is that happening? Why am I not enjoying it? What are the frustrations in my business and in my life that are preventing me from really enjoying this? And then you don't really have to do a lot to shift that equation a little bit. You just need to remove a frustration or two. If it's somebody in your business who's driving you crazy, you could get rid of them. If you're sitting through endless meetings that are pointless to you, then stop the meetings or figure out a way to make them better. So, the transition from not having fun, not enjoying it, to enjoying it more, it's not massive. You just need to be intentional about it and take small steps to get there.
Is it a mindset of like understanding the outcome being whatever it is positive, and even though what you're doing at that moment might be tedious or not the funnest thing in the world, but keeping in mind that, well, once this is done, then I can do this, and then the goal will be achieved.
Yeah, I think so. That's part of it. Um, that's part of it. But I think also, like you just said, like, I'm doing something that I don't like doing right now. But it's, for the greater outcome later, I'll be willing to do it. That's fine. But I think you, as the business owner, if you're asking yourself that, you should also ask yourself, why am I doing this task? Can somebody else in my business be doing this? Can I outsource this, and then use that time on my highest and best use as the business owner, do something that only I can do as a business owner rather than somebody else. So that's what I see a lot, is that business owners or leaders, um, they just get in these habits of doing things the way they've always done them, which may have been necessary to get the business to where it is today. But if you want to experience that increased profit, impact, and enjoyment, you need to do things a little bit differently going forward. right? What got you here isn't going to get you there. That's kind of where I come in and break the logjam.
Yeah, I call that kind of being an immature business to being a mature one, right? Where you have process, you have goals, you have benchmarks, and all that stuff. Do you find yourself, um, my friend of the program, Nate Seinel, likes to make fun of me as a business therapist of sort for business owners because he's heard me talk to people at length about their. I find entrepreneurship endlessly fascinating, um,
Okay.
and everyone's plight is different. Do you find yourself as Dr. Melfi, Soprano style, listening to someone because when you're working with small businesses, it's going to interweave with personal,
100%.
right? Do you find yourself being a therapist of sorts?
A little bit, but I'm pretty clear on drawing that boundary of what I'm good at, what my expertise is, what this engagement is about and what it isn't about. But you're right. It bleeds, particularly in the small business context, that there's no bright dividing line between business and personal life. Things that are going on in one aspect are going to bleed into the other. So as a coach or consultant who's working with a small business owner, it would be sort of neglectful not to acknowledge that. Now, if someone's coming to our sessions together when we're implementing the whole pie system into their business, and all they continue to talk about is their problems with their marriage or something addiction or anything like that. Let's pump the brakes, right? We need to get you some help for that. I'm not the person that's gonna navigate you through that.
Yeah, yeah. I was addicted to talking about my failed marriage, so I get it.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
KK, just trying to make this fun, man. I'm trying to implement this pie system.
The most downer you thing you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
with bad comes good, dude. That's why the theater symbol is a sad face and a happy face, uh, without the bad part. Time plus time plus tragedy equals comedy.
Uh,
well, I mean, let me clarify a little bit. Like it's not.
No, we're fucking around. We're not,
I don't have any. It's not like I don't have any empathy, right? I do have the empathy, but what
Hey, downers are good.
I call them out on because a lot of times that's an excuse, right? So we set some goals together, or I help. We don't set them together. I help a business establish the goals that are right for them, in terms of profit and impact and enjoyment, and then we develop a game plan to go out and get it. And we put the systems in place, and there's lots of bells and whistles. But what I see a lot of times when business owner might come and say, "Hey, well, we didn't do this because problems at home or this or that or right," and that's where that's part of my job is to push back and say, "Hey, we've all got stuff going on, right? We all have stuff going on in our lives, but we committed as a group, or you committed with your leadership team as a group. You're going to get this done. You're letting that team down, and then what message does that send to your team if you're not achieving what you said you were going to achieve?" And right, it just gives them permission to underachieve as well. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
what
if they're paying you, that's where your empathy can come in. They're paying you to have this, consultation or whatever. And then, if they're taking that time not achieving the goal, then that's where you can be like, hey, I feel bad that, like this is not getting accomplished. So, it's not like you're a terrible person. We don't think that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and maybe, and that's why the pie model, um, that's a good example of kind of how it works. Like it's its own check and balance. So, it's easy to go out and set a bunch of money goals. Like, yeah, let's make a gajillion dollars. Let's increase our client base by 500%. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do the other thing. You have to temper that, of course, with the resources that are available to do that. A key resource being time. And if you only have so many people on your team, and you have all these goals that are like going to take a lot of time, that might impact people's morale, their impact, how often they get to see their families. So the model itself, it builds in that check and balance, which works pretty well. And it allows people to understand that if they're going to really try to stretch in this area, that's great, but let's make sure that we go in it with eyes wide open to understand how that might affect the other areas of your business and your life.
With eyes wide open.
Mm. I knew that was going.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I can read your mind, bro. I know
No,
exactly what you're gonna
man.
say every time.
No way. You didn't know I was going to hit that Scott snap like that.
We do need to hear about the pie model, 30,000 foot view or whatever before we get out of here. Cause I don't think we really laid it out all too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, do you have a success story that about the implementing this with someone?
Yeah, there's a bunch actually. So the book is called Getting the Whole Pie. So that's like the book now that anyone can buy on Amazon. That actually takes you through it all step by step by step. So that came out in November last year. So now no longer do people have to hire me or another coach that's trained up in the whole pie system, but they can actually now buy the book and read it themselves, and then they can implement them themselves if they want. But what often happens, of course, is they're busy and the best intentions go awry, and so it makes a lot of sense to hire me or another coach to kind of help them through the process. So in terms of case studies, yeah, I mean the one I love to talk about is like an automatic car wash company that I've been working with for about 5 years. They've grown since I've been working with them, from 10 locations to 22 locations. Revenue tripled. But what's actually interesting in terms of the pie model is that it is the impact side of it, and the impact that they really decided to lean into is one that you wouldn't maybe normally associate with an automatic car wash business, where why do you have automatic car washes? Is so that you don't have to have people on site.
Right.
But the problem with not having people on site is if there's a problem with the wash, what does the customer do? And what we've noticed is a lot of these little mom and pop car washes that the company has acquired over the last few years since we've been working together is a lot of them didn't even have like a phone number that you couldn't even call. So you put your money in, thing doesn't work, you got no one to talk to, you drive off in a huff and you ruin your day.
Mhm.
So this company that I work with, Rubber Duck Car Wash, they really lean into customer service, which is unusual in the automatic car wash business. There are phone numbers everywhere. There is 12 hours of a day of actual live people that will answer the phone that work for the company, and then the other 12 hours of the day, there's a what do you call it? An answering service. So 24 hours a day, you actually talk to somebody if you're having trouble. We established all kinds of metrics around customer satisfaction, Google reviews, and all this stuff. So when you really lean into impact, i.e., how are you making your customers' lives better? That's just one small way that you're going to then generate loyalty, brand loyalty. You're going to get people coming back, because even if the car wash didn't work, if you go above and beyond with your customer service, you give them a free wash, you say thank you for calling, all that good stuff, and make it right, well, they're coming back. They're coming back. And that leaning into the impact in that way actually ends up, driving revenue as well. So another example of how the P and the I and the E, they all sort of interconnect.
With Chick-fil-A on them, they have high profit margins because they spend a lot of effort on their training for that customer service to be very high end. Yeah, interesting. Anything we didn't touch on before we get out of here? We try to keep these about 33 minutes, 34
Yeah.
minutes or so.
No, it's all good. I mean, a lot of times it's hard to really articulate to somebody like how does this work, and what's the point of all this? Like, if I'm a small business owner, what if like Eric and I were talking about sports, right? And a lot of sports analogies work for me. I don't know if they work for everybody listening, but when you think back to you remember the Oakland A's of whatever it was,
Moneyball, sure.
Moneyball, right? And so what did they do? They understood what? They understood what was the
Jeremy Giambi.
They get Jeremy up. Why do they get him? Because
It's cheap.
Gets on base.
No, Kevin Euclid's the king of walks.
Figure out your music. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Exactly. So what
David Justice.
what Moneyball did was they understood the underlying metrics that really drive the business. So they understood the drivers of results was on base percentage trumps batting average, right? The Gold State Warriors did the same thing when they understood that a 3-point basket is worth 50% more than a 2-point basket. And they leaned into that, and they got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and they won championships. And so the point is that winning organizations, they understand the drivers of success, and then they build people and systems around them. And that's the best way that I can think of to explain to someone who understands the sports analogy. That's what we do with the whole pie system. We figure out what are those drivers of results, and then we build people and systems around those drivers. So,
well, I could tell you, anybody who, even if they don't follow sports, the basketball one, perfect. I mean, if you don't understand, I mean, 3-2, like that's a great way to put it. Even if you don't get sports, I'd stick with that.
Yeah, now every kid just chucks threes in games now. It's crazy.
change the game. They changed the game. Yeah. And now, with analytics, like with AI, and then AI has changed the game again, right? And the businesses that are going, like, AI is this massive opportunity, and some businesses are going to take advantage of it, and some of them are going to get left behind. And the businesses that are going to take advantage of it are the ones that are well structured in the first place to have the time, the bandwidth, and the ability to take advantage of it. If you're a small business and you spend all your time fighting fires, how much bandwidth are you going to have to actually figure out how to adopt AI into your business? Zero. So now is even the more important time to get this structure right in your business so that you can take advantage of these things moving forward.
Yeah, you can't scale without good ops. So, well, thanks for coming on. I'm sorry it's a little choppy on my end. But appreciate your time, and I might see you down in Costa Rica soon. So if I do.
You know where to find me. Come on down, and I
Bring your map.
I was telling Eric, I
Fly into Liberia Airport.
you do say Liberia. That's the one. And I'm going to Tampa to see Nikita Kucherov play because he is unreal. So I'll hook you guys up if I make it.
Oh,
He's got a crazy amount of points right now. So, yeah, he's one of the best.
You guys are lucky to have him. Thanks for having me on, guys.
thank you.
So yeah.
All the best.